Hello and welcome. The combined forces of social, mobile, analytics and cloud are having a transformational effect on businesses in India. Let's understand what those effects are and what it means for you, the consumer, and for the businesses who are trying to make your life much more simpler. I'm joined by three people who will contribute to this discussion. Rangu Salgame from Tata Communications, Rajiv Sabharwal from ICICI Bank and Anil Jaggia from HDFC Bank. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. Let's say two banks sitting here, their biggest concern is security and whether the data is sitting safely wherever it is.
Absolutely. I think that is the number one concern for all service providers and technology providers. And the importance about hosting these cloud applications in a very secure environment and be able to predict cyber attacks is extremely important. So companies now provide, like Tata Communication, others, who are able to provide services that if a bank is hosting an application in the data center, we'll be able to predict ahead of time if the application is going to be attacked and be able to mitigate those risks even before the attack happens. So security has become extremely important. Secondly, the network, when the data this flows on different networks, you have to be secure in a way that nobody can come in, hack into the network and take customers' data. So the networks have to be very secure. So the companies are investing heavily to secure networks, secure the data centers, building predictive security analytic tools so that they're able to predict ahead of time and be able to mitigate this risk. The other big thing that's going on is consumption of entertainment by consumers on smartphones. And I think that's dramatically transforming how entertainment is going to be produced and delivered, and that integrated with social media. For example, if you're watching a cricket game on television, interacting that on a social media platform is a big transformation that's going on. So you're watching TV, you're online at the same time, in a second screen or multiple screens, and you have a whole network of your social media network. You're interacting about the game at the same time. I think that those kind of things are completely transforming.
And you could be doing other things as well, like maybe a banking transaction.
Absolutely, at the same time. They have an iPad, they have an iPhone, and then watching TV at the same time, and you're doing multiple things, multiple transactions. And so the whole consumption of entertainment and other services, anytime, on anywhere, any device, is really completely transforming how social media is coming into this play.
Right. How are organizations internally geared for this big challenge, right? You said that, unless there is a buy-in, and I'm sure there will be a buy-in, but a competency to manage this whole transition and respond to the customer effectively, you will not obviously succeed in this marketplace. So let me hear from you, Anil, and then I'll come to you, Rajiv.
So first of all, I would state a point that we mentioned before, that our employees have to be digitally oriented. And fortunately for us, a big proportion of our employee base is already very young. So, they are easily amenable to adopting distinct channels. And first of all, if they are comfortable in using our channels, which are alternate channels, whether it's on the net banking or a mobile app, then only they will be able to convince the customer with any conviction to move on. And as I said, security is always a lingering fear that you have to then talk about that. Without that, the conversation is not complete. But that's one part which is clearly with the employees, but that is got to be clearly augmented by a very extensive program on digital marketing, which is you have to market across all the channels, whether net, when a customer is looking for something, you have to be able to find and reach out to the customer in the most appropriate way.
Right. So let me break down to Sir Rajiv as we're running out of time. So Rajiv, how are you grappling with this internal challenge of conversion?
There has to be method around the madness. Clearly, we allow for ideas to germinate from all ends, and whether it's a branch banking team, whether it's a phone banking team, whether it's interactions which we have with customers or customers tell us. So, the ideas germinate from all ends. And then you have to create the right sieve with the right set of people who will take these ideas to the next level. And then we have created a forum, what we call an innovation forum, which is headed by a colleague of mine, and which is a cross-functional team across the service team, the risk team, the tech team, the business team, which then takes this idea from that initial stage till the time it goes into production. And because that is where you need structure, that is where you need to build in all the controls which Raghu helps us put together, and his colleagues help us. It's that which needs to come together so that what you're creating is robust, is safe for the customer, and hopefully will deliver through a UI which is far better than what exists today. Things like that.
Right, Rangu. Let me also ask you, crafting digital enterprise. I mean, that was really the theme that we started with. Your 30-second outlook on what that really means for the next 1 or 2 years.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest transformations that's happening is using the digital technology within the corporate environment. And one of the other examples that we use social media very heavily internally is crowdsourcing for innovation. So for a company like ours and other companies like my colleagues here, we have 8,000 employees in the company. And today we use a social media platform within the company to drive innovation. So we have people post problems, serious technology business problems, and source innovation from across the 8,000 employees. So that is becoming a massive platform of innovation. In the old days, we had an R&D group which looked at analysis, we did the research, there's a marketing team went around. Now you can have 8,000 people be a marketing
But do
engine.
people all participate as actively as?
Very actively. I mean, it is, we are getting some of the biggest innovations from crowdsourcing, from corners of the organization you never imagined.
Okay.
And so you have 8,000 brains that can be put to use now in many different ways. And so that's a very big transformation that we are seeing. Bringing that social media, crowdsourcing, innovation using the whole platform is a big transformation there.
And that's really in some ways is the future of the digital enterprise.
It is,
Right.
absolutely.
30 seconds, sum up from you, Anil.
So on all the four facets, cloud, let me talk about, we talked a little bit of cloud. For a bank, cloud is important. We're not looking at public cloud as of now, but private cloud is clearly very, very important. Cost and efficiency and agility tool. Analytics is been the bedrock for HDFC Bank. We have been leveraging that for several years. We're taking it to new platform, new plane all the time. And as I talked about, we will continue to use this on new frontiers that we haven't used before.
Right.
Mobility.
Static, dynamic, and context. I like the.
And mobility is absolutely the way customers will like to interact. Obviously, very important to give them the choice. We don't want to force anything to them, but we can see where they are gravitating to, that it's going to be mobile. And as Gen X, Y, and Z come into as being banking customers, we'll see that tilt changing drastically. And social is something that we all understand very well. We got to harness the power of social a lot more and take it to the position where we're able to, in a cost-effective way, get our customers to connect with us.
Rajiv, last word.
I think so. The future will change far quicker than what it has changed in the past. We will have to anticipate customer needs and not wait for the customer to tell us. We will need to ensure that our employees are digitally savvy so that they can respond to customer needs. And I would say one big thing which will, besides analytics, which will change everything and which will probably differentiate one from the other, is going to be the experience which you give to the customer on any channel which he picks to choose.
Right. So that's a fine note to end on. It's the experience that will matter eventually for consumers, whether it's a digital economy or not. But crafting digital enterprise is what we've been talking about. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. Thank you.